Hello, Royalers. Welcome to another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. I'm Lady TrenettWilson, your lecturer and social historian. Today, I wanted to lecture about a phenomenon that is emerging that's very concerning. In recent news, we've seen where Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle was tragically ended by their own son, allegedly, in a poking attack. I have to be very sensitive when it comes to how I discuss these type of things. Now, Rob Reiner was a well-known actor, director, writer. I mean, if you've watched a movie in the last 20 years, you've seen some of Rob Reiner's work, including Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, and even the movie Misery. So Rob Reiner was a very popular director. Our condolences to he and the family. It's just tragic and terrible to hear what happened. But did you know only a few days earlier, this same month in December of 2025, a black man, a classically trained baritone who was actually nominated for a Grammy Award, was taken away from the earth in the same manner as Rob Reiner. So you have to question, why are these kids in Hollywood taking their parents' life? Now, many years ago, the Mendez brothers, something like this happened, and they took their parents' life. And that was really the first time that the world had seen, parents being taken away from the earth by their own children. Now, when you look at these are two major people. Jubilant Sykes was a very famous baritone. Again, like I said, he was nominated for a Grammy. And when I say performed everywhere, the man performed everywhere. We're going to talk a little bit about his history and his upbringing, but it is concerning to see that people who we consider, if you're looking from the outside in, as privileged, wealthy, have everything that they want, but yet they both had severe mental health issues, allegedly stemming from addiction and homelessness. Now, these men were in their 30s. One was 31 and one was 32. So we have to wonder within that generation what's going on with our young men that they are so angry enough to take their parents' life in this manner, especially these rich men. And not only that, to do that to such beloved people and who had resources and access to help. So, what is that telling us? Perhaps there's not the proper type of help out here to help these people struggling with what they're struggling with. Now, these people were stone cold, addicts. They used substances. But I know some black men who are in jail for using substances. So these people walking around free have been diagnosed as schizophrenics, admitted at addicts and homelessness, all kind of stuff going on, but they walking around free. Meanwhile, some black men are sitting in jail for many years behind possession or stuff like that. So it's just I don't get this, but I guess money talks, huh? You can get the right lawyer when you have enough money. So unfortunately, Jubilant lost his life at the hands of his own child. Now, his father's name was Robert, and his mother's name was Eloise, and he was actually born in Los Angeles, and he stayed there all his life because when he passed, he was in Santa Monica. Now, he was born on September 17th, 1954, and he attended California State University, Fullerton. He graduated in 1979. Now, when he was in college, someone really recognized his talent. So they gave him a scholarship, and he studied in Europe and Austria and Paris throughout the 1990s. When he came back, he played Jake in Porgy and Bess with the Houston Grand Opera. So over the years, his voice began to deepen. And so he started off when he was young as a soprano, but now in his fullness, he was a rich baritone. And I mean, he would shut it down. My daughter, who's a singer, her name is Kiki Perez, and she sung for Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond. She's actually on the Temptations album. So proud of her. But opera was one of her loves. She really loved to hear opera and sing it herself. And you have to be very skilled to do that. And you know what Jubilant was? He had a gift. And he debuted at the Metropolitan Opera in New York in 1990. Now, when he debuted, people loved him. and he became one of the world's most prestigious opera singer all over the world. He sung at the Kennedy Center, the Metropolitan Opera House there in New York, at the Carnegie, at something called the Barbican in Center in London, and the Hollywood Bowl. He even acted in a movie called Freedom with Cuba Gooding Jr. Man, Cuba used to have some good movies. Would you agree? Cuba, oh, I tell you what, he was such a fantastic actor. I really hate to see him fall off the way he did. I hope he get it together and get his head clear and stop all this foolishness that we're hearing in the press over the years. I hope he gets it together. So in 1990, he signed with IMG, and his career took off from there, singing at many different places. And in 2009, by then he was well respected, well honored, and he was nominated for a Grammy. He was nominated for Best Classical Baritone, and he became the artist and advisor for Orchestra Santa Monica. So he was doing well. But at the age of 71, on December the 8th, he was found unalive with multiple wounds from a sticky thing, and his son Micah was arrested for the assault. And they had three sons, he and his wife Cecilia, but um, he did that in front of the mama. The mama saw everything according to reports. And they didn't say that he attacked her like Robert Reiner's son did. He did it to both parents, to Michelle and Rob. Nick did that, but not the other son, not Micah. So he only hurt Jubilant. Now he was ordered into jail. He had a $4 million bond, but then his bond was stripped and he is now sitting in jail on no bond. So I'll keep you posted as far as what the outcome of the case is, and as well as Robert Reiner. But I want to know, what do you think? Is there a problem with our young men in California? I don't know what's going on, and these people have the resources to get these kids help. The one boy, Nick, had been in rehab reportedly over 12 times. It's no telling how many times Micah, Jubilant's son, had been in rehab, but not had been recovered. These people are using drugs that are actually substances that are actually changing the chemical makeup of their mind and becoming schizophrenics. It's a scary thing to even think about. What would you say? Would you agree? I think excess kind of money's not everything. Sometimes when you have excess and you have, you can get anything that you want in your life, it's not a good thing. And I think these young men are examples of that. So keep the conversation going down below. Tell me what you think. This is so tragic. Had you ever heard of Jubilant in this story? Is there, we get one more of these. There's a pattern going on there in Santa Monica in California, which makes me believe there may be a spirit in operation there. So this is not just physical, but this is a spiritual thing going on as well. So I thank you all for watching. My condolences to both families. Now, if you want to continue to learn about our Black American history and Royal Black history, definitely click down below. Now, as you know, my lessons are for education and entertainment purposes only, and the Fair Act use is in effect. I want to thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you on another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. Have a great day.